Hello YouTube. I'm here at 40 Acre Rock again, and you can see in the background that it's a pretty day, sun shining. You can see some of the red sedum in the background. I forgot my tripod, so I'm going to do a little selfie routine here. But it's a great day to be out. It's the 10th of March. The red sedum or Puck's Orpine is definitely out in abundance. Some of the Amphianthus, it looks like, is already on the wane, but I'll see if I can find a spot and such. But a great day to be out. I'll talk to you a little bit about, see if we can find some wildflowers down the way. It's probably a little bit late for some of the spring wildflowers, but we'll see what we can find.
This is my path for this trip. It was about 2.2 miles. And there are a couple of pretty steep sections. There's one steep downhill on the right side, lower side of this, and another steep uphill just on the other side of the waterfall on the other side. So beware of that. As I walk down the road into the area, the first thing I see is some poop. So this looks like it may be coyote. It's got a lot of fur in it. So you never know what you're going to find. So this is one of them. Sometimes when I come out here, there's nobody here, but this time there were about 6 cars in the parking lot, and here's a family in front of us. It was good to see a lot of families and a lot of kids out seeing nature. As I got out onto the rock, one of the first things that I saw was these red plants that are in these solution depressions. These, you can see, these leaves are really inflated. They've stored water. Right now it's dry. It's been raining for the past month or so, but now it's dry. So these are inflated with water, ready for to last through the next dry season.
This is a pool with Amphianthus in it. This is pool Sprite, and this is already on its way out. You can tell the pool's dry, but you can see the old flowers in there now. We're supposed to get some rain again this weekend. We'll see how it goes. But this may die off before the weekend comes around. But this is pool Sprite, one of the rarest plants in South Carolina, only found on granite outcrops such as 40 Acre Rock. Now this is the largest colony of pool Sprite that I know of out here. And you can see most of the time these leaves are floating when they're here, and now it looks like it's dried up to the point that the pool Sprite's going to be gone pretty soon. There's another batch of pool Sprite in that pool. There's another batch beyond it. And if we don't get rain in the next few days, this will die off. Now the good thing is it can reproduce very quickly. So it'll produce seeds, and those seeds will mature and be ready to go. I'll see if I can get a good close-up of the rosette though. Here you can see a tiny rosette of pool Sprite, and you can see it all originates around a central point, and then these floating leaves are out there. Here are the flowers. These will be pollinated and then produce seed. But the oak leaf beside it gives you an example of how small this is. Pool Sprite is an appropriate name. Here you can see some of the sedum, the red sedum, that's just taking advantage of one of these little depressions. Now, if you remember from my last video, these depressions are called solution depressions because as the rock decays, material will gather in there, but then the material will start to decay also, and then it produces acids such as tannic acid and will eat away the rock even more. Also, whenever it rains, those rocks that are in there will swirl around, and the swirling action will help eat away the rock itself. So this is the beginning of a larger solution depression, but it's a small one, and here's the sedum taking advantage of it. Now, just to remind you of some of the steps of weathering, and here we have both physical and chemical weathering. Physical weathering would be where something actually rubs or scrapes away some of the rock, but chemical weathering is where solutions or whatever will help decay the rock. Here, lichen growing on the rock, and lichen are one of the first organic materials to grow. Lichen is a symbiotic relationship between a moss and a fungi, and the moss and the fungi grow on the rock. It will help decompose the rock and then also create more soil. Then once that's there, it'll create areas where you may have mosses. These are some mosses, and you can see on top of the mosses are some sedum growing. So that's the way we have. This is one of the things that I came looking for today. This is Trout Lily, and it's really a little bit late for the Trout Lily to be blooming, but this is Trout Lily. This is in one of the cedar trees, have these accumulations of moss at the base, and this cedar tree, whole grove of cedars off here, has a couple of Trout Lilies. Here's Trout Lilies, and you can see they're the leaves of other Trout Lilies. Here's the leaf. Well, I guess it's about right time-wise, because here's a flower that's starting to send up. So pretty neat to have Trout Lilies blooming. I saw this similar lily out in Mount Rainier, and it's called Avalanche Lily, and they have the same genus, different species. Now here's one of those seepages, and this goes between two of these islands of life among the rock. And you can see the cedar trees, the mosses, some Trout Lilies, and what will be senecio or the woolly ragwort down there also. Kind of neat. Now reptiles do make themselves known on the rock. I just scurried up a little fence lizard, and I'm trying to see if I can find him. I can't find him in the lens. Now what I've done is I've actually gone across down the rock a little bit, and I'm working my way to the right. And there's a path that goes off down here, and I'm going to try to go down that path, and it goes along the bottom of the rock and then comes up towards the waterfall. We'll try that way. Now this is a forest on the way down. This is mostly rock chestnut oak around here, and fairly sparse woods. There's the rock right over there, so we've just entered this area. But rock chestnut oak everywhere, and we'll be working our way down towards the water and the creek down below. Now this trail does get a little steep, so if you're not sure of your feet and such, it may not be a good idea to do this trail. You can access the same area from the other side, but it can get steep, and the trail is a little gravelly, so it can slide out from under you, so be careful. This is another one of our spring wildflowers, probably one of my favorites. This one is bloodroot, and it's growing on the hillside as I'm coming down from the rock, and it is just gorgeous. It'll have a single leaf that encircles the stem of this. Once it starts, it'll probably flower, and then once the flowers start going away, the leaf starts coming out. Beautiful plant, bloodroot, Sanguinaria canadensis. Here's some other bloodroot flowers over there, and then you can even find some closer to the trail too. So it's out this time of year. So March the 10th. Now, this is the bottom. Once we've gotten down to the bottom, here we are at the creek, and this goes into Flat Creek. But it's a pretty wide bottom right at the base of the rock. There's another group up here of kids and such with some dogs. And that's what's great to see, is folks enjoying this area. And here's some more of the Trout Lily that was up above. So a good bit blooming right now. There's some over there, and here's some here. Now this is a plant that I think is pretty neat. It's called cranefly lily, and or for cranefly orchid. And if you see, it's got green on this side, and then on the back side, it's got a purple side. So it's pretty easy to identify. And it's called Tipularia discolor. And I think discolor because it's got those two opposing sort of colors. But the leaf is out all the time. The flower stalk will come up from here, and it looks like a cranefly. So therefore it's cranefly orchid. Now this tree is one of the easiest to identify by its bark, and it's called Mussel Wood. And what it has is it has these indentations in it. It's also called ironwood, Carpinus caroliniana, and it's found in these lowland bottoms. But Mussel Wood, ironwood, easy to identify like this. It's also called hop hornbeam because its flowers look like a hop flower. And here's some more just right here on the side of the trail. And you can see from a distance how it's got that muscled bark to it. And look, it looks like one in the distance there too. I'll have to get closer to see. Nope, it's not. That one looks like a red maple. So not a hop hornbeam up there, but it is a hop hornbeam right here. Or a mussel wood or ironwood. This is a neat find. What it is it's Batricium, and here's the leaf of it, and it's one of the ferns. And this one is, I'm not sure which one it is, but it's found in these bottoms. There's one called grape fern, another one called rattlesnake fern, but Batricium is what it is. Neat find. Now I'm looking to the left of the trail, and I'm looking up at the rock, and it looks up to that area where it was quarried at the top. So there's the rock up there. Now straight in front of me is the waterfall, and we're going to work our way that way. But it's rare that you could even see the water from here, except for during the winter time. So it's nice to be here this early in the spring to where the leaves haven't come out yet. Now here's the waterfall. Just to the right of it's a little cave, a little shallow cave. But this water comes through the layer up above, hits the rock, doesn't have anywhere to go, so it ends up coming off here and joining and making this creek. This creek meets another one over here, and this one comes straight off the rock right up there, where the water can't penetrate through the rock, so it ends up floating off the top. Neat spot. And one thing you might want to be aware of is we came down the rock on the other side, so yes, we have to come up the rock on this side, and it is fairly steep. So the key is slow down, keep your breath, and just one foot in front of the other. So here we are, joining back up with the rock itself. Here we are, almost to the top. What a nice walk. And do you notice how much pool sprite and sedum we saw down there? None. So what happens is this little puxor pine is up here on this rock, and this is the only place it grows. It can't compete with the other things down below. And the other things can't compete up here with it. So here we are back on top of 40 Acre Rock. I hope you enjoyed our little walk around. There's a lot more to see here. That was just one of the little trails that we walked just then. And I'll try to do another one next time. But we're going from the rock, from the upper parking lot, all around, essentially down the bottom of the rock and along the edge of the bottom. And there we're standing on the fall line, and you can see the coastal plain down below. So y'all have a great day. It's a great time to get out this weekend if you got a chance to do so.